Welcome to the How Did Show, where interesting people answer the questions, how did I get here? And how in the hell did I get here? With your host, Donovan Corneets.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of the How Did Show. Today, I have a guest that I'm supremely excited about having with us. This is one of my voiceover mentors from the beginning, has always been truly supportive, and I consider him a friend now, even though he's one of the titans of my VO industry. I mean, I can't even get into how many different promos and commercials he's been a part of. Countless. I won't even try to get into them. Every network pretty much, but probably most well known, at least recently, for his award-winning work in video games. So countless characters in games like World of Warcraft.
Anyone who can still fight, come with me!
Gears of War.
Nobody said this would be pretty.
And was actually named one of the 20 best male game voices of all time. Damn, that is impressive. But probably most famous role as Lee Everett in the Walking Dead game series.
I think that might be a little while, you know?
Oh.
Look, I don't know what happened, but I'll look after you until then.
Which I actually had a very tiny little role in a Walking Dead game.
Watchdogs caught him trying to steal supplies. Well, he's not staying here. You let in a stranger and everything starts breaking down.
So I feel like we have a connection there. Although I had like maybe 8 lines. I think you had considerably more lines than that in Walking Dead. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us as we welcome my friend, my mentor, my colleague, Mr. Dave Fennoy. Dave, welcome, and thank you for joining me on here.
Oh, Donovan, hey, it's a pleasure, man. Thank you for the very kind words. Happy to be here with you. And yeah, I had a lot of lines in that. Just
a couple. Yeah.
The sessions would last 2 and 3 days, all day.
Oh, not hours, days.
Days. Well, within each day, you're talking about 5-hour sessions. Fortunately, there wasn't battle chatter, so
it wasn't
that rough on your voice. But you're talking about 1,300 lines at least per episode.
Jeez, yeah, because they had it where you would pick so many different choices, but then those choices led to other choices, so you had all these scenarios,
which is one of the features of video games now.
Right.
If you're an actor in a video game, a lot of times you can't tell your story because you don't know your
getting
story.
It in pieces.
They're so secretive.
Yeah,
they don't let you see a whole script ever.
Yeah,
and you may, you have a path where you're a good person or a bad person, or you live or you die, or who knows what happens to you. It's a crazy, wild world in video games.
It is crazy. I just recently had I played 6 characters in a game, same kind of scenario, but only 2 of them were kind of sort of major characters. And I mean, it was just like 3-hour sessions of just, I don't even remember how many lines, but just nonstop because, and like you said, I'm going through these lines and the director or the producer is saying, okay, here's what just happened. Right before this, you are someone that they can select to do this. I can't tell you too much more than that, but this is what they could have said. And then this is your possible 19 responses to what they may have chosen. And if they chose the other one, here's the other 19 responses. And thankfully, same thing, only one of the roles that I had out of the 6 was actually like yelling and battle cry and hits and dying and that stuff. And that it is.
Oh yeah. Well, when you walk in the studio and on the screen or on the paper it says battle chatter.
Yeah.
You're afraid. Be very afraid.
Yeah. He's this way. Attack. Ambush.
It's funny when you are looking at on-camera theater, the arc of a character, which we don't get. When I'm teaching, when I tell my students is, listen, know who the character is. When you know who the character is, it's more like our lives every day, because we know we have certain tendencies, but we don't know what the arc of our day is going to be, or our week, or our month, or our life. We show up as ourselves and react to the things that come our way.
Exactly.
And that's what you have to do as a character in a video game.
You know what? I know we could definitely talk about VO and games and stuff nonstop, but I'm going to get us back on track here because the name of the show is The How Did Show. And as you may or may not know, this comes in two parts. The first part, we're going to get a How Did I Get Here? Then we're going to break it up with a little fun middle question. And then the How the Hell Did I Get Here? But that's coming. That's coming soon, and I cannot wait to hear this story because I promise I haven't heard it before. But first, in your career, your path to become the Dave Fennoy, how would you answer the question, how did I get here?
Well, so many things start before you know you've started. So as a kid, my mother was a school teacher and reading specialist. So when I'm riding in the car with my mom and dad, my mom is, read that sign, read that sign, read that sign. And my dad is saying, when we see the cats on the corner hanging out, talking, say, that will never be you. That will never be you. You will always have something to do. So my parents made sure I got a good education, read well. And I was always interested in artistic things. They sent me to Caramoo House. I grew up in Cleveland. Any Black actor that you see on television in the movies from Cleveland went to Caramoo House.
Okay, shout out Cleveland.
Yeah, music, modern dance, art, acting. And as I went through life, I was a musician for a while and got married, had a kid, realized I wasn't going to grow up to be a rock and roll star after all. So I went into radio. Okay. And I was a disc jockey in San Francisco, working under the name Billy David Ocean. I was...
that sounds super smooth, man.
107.7 KSOL, Billy David Ocean, getting you up and on your way, baby. Come on with it.
Like he never left. You hear that? Like he never left.
So I was on KDIA and KSOL. And at one point early in my career, as a matter of fact, I wasn't even on the air then. I was writing commercials and being the continuity director of a radio station. And the morning guy came out as I was arriving, and we were kind of friends. Hey, man, how you doing? Where you going? Oh, I'm going over to the city. We were in Berkeley. Going over to the city to do some voiceover work. I make more money doing that than I do on the radio. And bing, little bing. And I said, voiceover? So what's voiceover? He says, oh, man, it's commercials and TV promos and cartoons. I got some commercials to knock out. And I said, well, how do you
tell me more?
Exactly. So he gave me a 5-minute lesson. Well, listen, you're going to have to get a demo together of some, commercials that you've done or that you would like to do, and you send that to an agent, and then the agent signs you, and you join the union, and they start sending you auditions, and you audition, and you book, and so forth and so on. Well, it sounded like a lot, and that's
a lot to fit in 5 minutes, man.
Yeah. This was in the 80s, before this modern world that we live in with internet and Google searches and that kind of thing. So it took me a couple of years before I did anything about it, but the thought never left. I was on that radio path then. The thought never left. And a couple of years later, I started taking some classes. I started seeking it out. I put together a demo myself, which is going, no, don't never do that.
I did the same thing, man. And I kept it just so I could think to myself, what the hell were you thinking? But at the time, I thought it was hot stuff.
I have no idea what mine is. See, yours is probably, you've got it in a digital file someplace.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Mine was long before there were digital files. So I sent this 5-minute long demo.
Mine was like 3.5 minutes.
Well, see, but mine was supposed to be 3.5 minutes or 3 minutes because that was the standard length now. Of course, now they're, if you can do it in 30 seconds, they're happy.
Exactly.
But I sent it to an agent, Joan Spangler, at an agency in San Francisco. And I expected to hear back from her in a few days.
Of course.
Nothing.
It was amazing. Why?
And after a couple of weeks, I called, and the receptionist says, "Oh yeah, we got it. She'll call you. Don't worry." And after a couple more weeks, I called again, same message. Finally, after about 2 months, I called, and she said, "Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? Yes, she'd like to schedule you to come in." I went over, had my meeting. She said, "Well, you're very talented. Your demo is much too long. It has far too many local spots on it.
Right.
Go back, redo it, and come see me in 6 months."
Okay.
Which seemed like an eternity at the time.
Of course.
So
just tell me never.
I went back, I pulled out the things that were local retail. I adjusted some things, added a couple things, went back. I don't think I waited 6 months, and she signed me. And I booked the first thing I auditioned for, which was a spot for the California Lottery.
Okay.
And
so you booked your first ever audition?
I booked my first ever
You were
audition.
setting yourself up for not really knowing how things go.
For tears.
That's almost the worst thing that can happen to you is that you book their first thing. Like, oh, I'm in. That's it, baby. Back up the armored truck and let the money fall out.
Yeah. I don't care who you are, how good you are. You're not going to book the majority of things that you audition for. It's just that's not the game we're playing.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of local clients then. There was a station TV 20. I was doing promos for them. And this was before I had joined the union. So it was all the promos I could fit in an hour for $25 an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I was a voice of a couple of phone things. I was a voice of the Michael Jackson hotline. I was a voice of the Prince hotline.
Look, I got my my Thriller album right there.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And I also became the voice of Marine World Africa USA, their concert series and some promos they did. I won an award for one of those. It was a Golden Prawn Award. And I didn't realize at the time.
I had not heard of the Golden Prawn.
Yeah, I hadn't at the time either. The agency put the spot up. They actually won the award because they went to the ceremony. I was not invited. They told me about it, but I was not invited. And they didn't pay for a Golden Prawn for me. You know, if you win an award, somebody's got to pay for it.
That is true.
They don't just give it to you. You know, when you see the Oscars and whatnot, the production companies do it. But so I was doing a little voiceover on the side and being on the radio as a morning jock as we got later on at KDIA and KSOL.
Wait a minute. I have to cut you off. Did you ever go back and get your Golden Prawn?
No.
Oh, come on.
And I'm not even sure they do the Golden Prawns anymore. But
go ahead. Sorry.
San Francisco thing. No, that's okay, because a few times I tried, and at first, you know, I don't remember, it was like $400 or $500, and I'm like, I ain't spending that much for it. And then I got to a point, wow, $400 or $500.
Yeah, I can do that.
And at that point, I couldn't find who I would need to find. But anyway.
Right.
So as I got into voiceover more and realized, hey, this is a really cool thing. But I'm the morning jock on KSOL.
Big deal.
I'll take some classes, and when I'm making as much money in voiceover as I am in the radio, I'll quit the radio and jump over. Well, you know, we make plans, God laughs.
Yep.
1990, we got a new consultant come to the station, and on February 3rd, 1990, I got off my morning show. Oh, the JM wants to see you, and fired me. And as each person finished their shift,
just they one by one got fired.
Everyone got.
But do your shift first.
Yeah, but I had taken this class about 3 months before. It was a weekend workshop with Samantha Blue, who used to live down here. Now she teaches Voice Tracks San Francisco.
Okay,
and one of her agents came up, Lee Gilbert, came up and taught a 2-day workshop. And at the end of it, she said, you're really talented. If you ever decide to come to Los Angeles, we'd like to represent you. I had no idea how fortunate I was at that moment. But she gave me her card. Oh, yeah, one day I'm going to do that. Yeah, great. I put it in my pocket, went on home. And 3 months later, the firing happens. And now I've got
where the hell is that card?
Someplace. So what drawer did I stick it? So I found the card. I called her up and I said, "Now, were you serious?" She said, "Yeah, do a new demo and come on down." So that was February when I called her, got the demo done. And I think it was early May.
Okay.
And I started commuting back and forth to Los Angeles. And even before that, a buddy of mine that had gone to high school with was working on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a cartoon director, the drawing director.
Okay.
And he hooked me up with some auditions, and 3 of them. I would drive down to Los Angeles, do the audition.
How long of a drive is this?
It's about 5 hours, 5-6 hours. I would drive down to Los Angeles. He would always hook them up so they'd be in like about 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon, because if they were in the morning, I'd have been up at 3 trying to get there.
Right.
So I drive down, do the audition, jump back in my car and drive back. So 12 hours of driving about for that 5-minute audition.
5-minute audition.
Yeah. I did that 3 times, but guess how many of them I booked? 0. Yeah, none.
I know the voiceover story.
But I was in the game.
But you're in there. Your foot was.
I was in the game.
They knew about you now.
Yeah. So once I had the agent, I would drive down every week. As my family we were living in Berkeley. I would drive down on a Sunday night or Monday morning and stay all week and drive back on a Friday evening or Saturday morning. And first I was staying with an uncle of mine who lived down there. Then I was staying with a buddy of mine had gone to high school with, who was working at CBS, doing some soap opera sound effects. And he hooked me up sometimes with a little extra work on the soaps as I was getting going. But I tell that story about the driving down because if you want to do anything, you're going to have to come out of your comfort zone. Whatever it is you're doing now is not going to get you to that place that you're not. You have to do something else.
Absolutely, 100%.
So I did that for about 8 months, and things were picking up.
Okay.
I did a couple cartoon series. I was doing a few commercials, some promos. I got a gig with Disney Channel, became one of the Disney Channel voices. I was doing daytime promos for CBS. ABC was using me a lot. And finally, I moved my family down. We bought a little house in Pasadena.
Yeah, after a while, that commute gets to be a bit much.
Yeah. Well, that was the plan all along. Yeah. But things went well. You know, there's a little bit of that. And the rest is history to that. Yeah. Now, always ups and downs. And absolutely. People that are getting in business, look, it's not just a trajectory up. You're going up and down, and sometimes you'll hit that lofty place, and then you can end up way down here again.
Bottom drops out,
and then you can go back. But you gotta do stuff. You gotta keep pushing. You gotta keep reminding yourself or reminding the people who have hired you that you exist.
Right.
People are always knocking on the door, absolutely. And what's the next shiny object? So promotion.
You got to shine yourself up.
Yeah, well, shine yourself up and present yourself.
Absolutely. No, that's a great story, especially like knowing about that commute for the auditions. I one time had an audition where they specifically requested me for a pilot that was going to be on, I want to say Amazon Prime, and they were like, "Hey, look, but you got to get out to LA." And I was living in North Carolina at the time, and I'm like, well, I need some time to plan. Like, that's a cross country trip. Well, when is it? And this was, maybe like Monday, like, it's Thursday. Like, so I bought a plane ticket, very expensive to get a plane ticket the week of.
Last minute? Oh, yeah.
So I bought a plane ticket and a hotel to go to LA. I got there the night before, really late the night before. Hotel, early in the morning, went over to Burbank for this audition. They actually ended up having me audition for 3 characters because they loved my audition for the original one. Was like, all right, thanks. Straight back to the airport, came back across, didn't book any of it. Went nowhere. But like you said, my name was there. They actually contacted me later to say, hey, look, we just want to let you know, once it got higher up, more and more people were like, yeah, he's just not right for this, or he's just not right for that. But we loved you here. So those relationships have become fruitful afterwards. But I mean, talk about like going for it, But
you know what? You prove something that, you're willing to do what needs to be done.
Absolutely.
To get the gig. And I'm sure that impressed them. And I'm sure your work impressed them. I tell students all the time, your job is to turn in wonderful performances in your auditions. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you how many times I've auditioned for this character, but booked that character because they liked the audition. They felt somebody else captured the spot that character better, but they liked the acting and they thought, oh yeah, he'd be perfect for this. So
same thing, man. That game I told you was Wasteland 3, the one that recently with the 6 characters. I didn't audition for any of those 6. I auditioned for one of the main characters, didn't book it. They said, yeah, we didn't think you were right for that, but I think you'd be good for these 2. So I did the 2. And then a week and a half later, they said, actually, we got 3 more for you.
Yeah.
None of them I had auditioned for.
We may be sharing some screen time on Wasteland 3.
Hey, it was I don't
remember which characters I did, but
Battle of Steel Town is the little DLC. So look at that, man. That's 2 connections, man.
Yeah.
2 connections. And
that's a funny thing about video games because you're working by yourself all the time. So a lot of times you find out your voiceover buddies are in there, but not until the game's out.
Yeah, the games are like, oh, you were in that too? Hey, you're the guy with the dog. Like,
we've got scenes together. I never knew.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, we had no idea. No, I will say that part of it is definitely cool where you can end up, I mean, being in the, like you said, having screen time with like one of your idols or, a buddy of yours or whatever. And then you can actually build friendships off of that because you have that connection. Before we move on, I will say really quickly, and I think I've told you this before in private, but such a huge influence on me in my career. And I'll never forget meeting you. One of the first times I met you, and you, I was really early on and I didn't really have any big bookings, but I was in the process of building. And you're like, yeah, I know who you are. Keep going. You belong here. And I almost fell over. I was so shocked at that. I was like, wait, what? Like, your name is in the voiceover books that I bought to learn about it. And you're telling me I belong here. And I never forgot that. And that's always resonated with me. And that always has inspired me and influenced me when I talk to people that are coming up and I actually see something in them. I let them know like, hey, you got something here. You just got, you got some work to do, but you got what it takes.
You got the clay. You just need to mold it.
Mold it, baby. So I wanted to say I truly appreciate that. And I'm always forever thankful for that quick, like 10 seconds of inspiration you gave me. It stuck with me ever since. So,
well, thank you for proving me right.
Yeah, man. I hate to make a liar out of you, man. All right. So now that we have that, we've answered, how did I get here? Now it's time for a little break. And the Wheel of What? So,
the Wheel of what?
The Wheel of What? So this is what we have right here. We're going to spin this and see what it lands on. And you ready to answer me honestly?
As honest as I can.
All right, here we go. What do we got? Hidden talent.
Hidden talent. You know what? I don't have any if I have a hidden talent, it's snoring. I have a very loud, deep snore. You might want to spin that again.
You know what? I'm going to give you another spin just because of how special of a guy you are. And we can't go with snoring. Come on, man. I mean, this is Lee Everett here. All right. Again. It really the
thing
universe. All right, food combo.
Okay.
What's a
all
weird
right.
food combination that you like, but somebody else be like, Dave, what the hell?
Well, let's see. I like what I call a Cabana Nut Sandwich. Now, this is not peanut butter and jelly.
You're picking it up a notch here.
Whole wheat bread.
Okay.
Some good crunchy peanut butter. Good
crunchy peanut butter. Okay.
Then you take a banana and you slice it into little circles and you put it all over that. And then you get you some good Manuka honey. And you spread that Manuka honey. You can drizzle it on.
And it got like some technique there. You got a little.
It gets all in the pockets, in the nooks and crannies between the banana. And then you put that other piece of bread on top. And you got to eat it carefully because that honey, when you lift the sandwich, that honey wants to drip out. So you do things like you lick the bottom of the sandwich.
It's like an event.
You're going to keep it horizontal until you turn it up and then back. And
it's all in the wrist.
It's all in the wrist. So it's technique. It's a recipe, but it's also technique to eat.
And this is called what is it?
Cabana Nut Sandwich.
Cabana Nut. Okay.
Cabana Nut Sandwich.
Where's the scuff come from?
I don't know. It just sounded good to me when I made it up.
I didn't hear like a honey
I'm gonna
in
fix
there.
Me a Cabana Nut Sandwich.
Not so good for voiceover, but you got to wait till you're done with your voices for the day, I would assume, right? With that peanut butter. Or you're like, you know what? I'm a pro, baby. I'll eat a Cabana.
You know what? I have eaten a Cabana Nut Sandwich and then returned to the booth, but just swish your mouth out with some water for a little bit.
That's what happens when you're a pro in the game. You can eat a Cabana Nut Sandwich and then go ahead and record Lee Everett
and just get right back into it. Yeah.
Me, like, and did you eat cement before this?
Oh boy, yeah.
All right, so that was awesome. I've never heard of that.
You got to keep that water handy because your mouth gets dry. Now you got all those mouthy noises. Up.
Yeah. Got to keep the water standing by with that Cabana. Am I saying it right? Cabana Nut.
Cabana Nut.
Oh man. See, look, that's not that bad though. That's not that bad. I've heard of some really weird combinations. I know I have a couple of people like, what? But that's not bad. So you got your bread, you got your crunchy peanut butter.
Now, not banana, just bread.
Whole wheat.
You want some whole wheat bread.
Gotta be whole wheat.
Yeah.
Crunchy peanut butter.
It can have, seeds and stuff in it but you want a good natural bread. You don't want that.
I think it holds the honey and then complements the sweetness. I'm with you, man. You go. I'm with you. I'm not mad at that at all.
And I'm with the Manuka honey or unpasteurized honey because it's the healthiest. And it's good for your throat.
There you go. See, look at that. Man,
I feel like it's health food.
It is health food. Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. Kind of a carb bomb, but yeah, we'll go with it's healthy. All right, that's awesome. So now that we got that recipe out of the way that I may or may not try later, we're going to go into part 2 of the How Did Show. And that is where my illustrious guest has to tell a story where you looked around or you looked in the mirror and you said, how the hell did I get here? I'm ready for it whenever you are. Let me hear it.
Well, there's some stories I could tell that I think I'm beyond the statute of limitations.
Hey, look, man, we're not trying to take any hits to the image. I don't want any police calling me up like, what was that episode again? So yeah, no self-incriminating stuff here.
I did some wild and crazy things in my younger years, as I think most people probably have.
Much younger?
Yeah. I once with a couple of buddies, we were smoking some marijuana, and this is St. Paul, Minnesota, and the Mississippi River runs between Minneapolis and St. Paul, and we walked across the bridge and went down to the river. Well, to get back, we decided, because we were high, to climb over the bridge, over the girders, under the bridge. So you're talking a couple 100 feet up, and
about
football field, about a football field across. So we went under the bridge. So that was a how did I get here moment. But the actual story,
You survived though, so kudos.
I survived
to you.
that. I survived that. The actual story is a good one, and it's career oriented. When I did the Walking Dead game, first of all, they had actually hired somebody else to play Lee Everett. They had done a whole episode and decided that person wasn't working. I don't know who he is, don't want to know.
It was me. No, it wasn't.
But I know one day if I'm walking down the street up in the Bay Area, because that's where he's from, and somebody walks up to me and sucker punches me,
Yeah.
it's probably him.
You SOB. You took my lead.
But I knew in the first 20 minutes of recording it was something special. What I didn't know was that game was going to win 100 Game of the Year awards, and I was going to be nominated for Best Performance in a Video Game a number of times, won a couple. But the one I remember most was being nominated for a BAFTA, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts. And
Nice.
Once again, Telltale decided, hey, we've been nominated, you've been nominated. My co-star, Melissa Hutchinson, who played the little girl, Clementine, that I'm taking care of, was nominated. And they took the two of us and several people on the production crew to London for the British Academy of Film and Television Arts Awards for video games. I got to tux up, be in this ceremony, just like the Oscars or the Emmys.
Yeah.
Now I didn't win, but
It was rigged.
But it was a very singular, wonderful
It's an incredible experience.
And
Absolutely.
that was a point. I remember being in that room and looking around and realizing, you know what, this is not what I expected in this
That was
career.
special. Very special.
This is special. This is possibly a once in a lifetime event.
Many people will never get anywhere close to that experience. Absolutely.
So that's my wow, how did I get here moment.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That is, I was waiting for you to tell me you won, and you actually got it to make up for your golden prawn, fiasco. I was waiting for the story arc to come back, and I got my damn award finally. But all right.
No, I didn't win. I've won some other ones. I've got some. Well, you can't see because
Yeah.
I'm out in space now. But
You are out in space, man.
I've got some hardware behind me that I've won.
Well, that really is a truly awesome story. And I know I've had a couple of times where I've been in rooms or being in situations where I'm like, I cannot believe this little dream I followed however long ago, and the work that I put in led me to this point that the majority of people that have ever been on the planet will not have this experience.
Yeah.
And never will. And so yeah, man, I feel you on that 100% because I know you have to have felt this where you might have one of these days or weeks or whatever where you're just like booking stuff, or you have a ton of sessions, or you're going to London or going to these cons with hundreds or thousands of fans that all love you because of the work you did, and you kind of just realize, like, look what I get to do for a living.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, man, is this awesome? And there are much worse ways.
My
to
little
earn a
joke
dollar.
for friends of mine not in the business, and they talk about what it is. Well, it beats working for a living.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's funny? It's like when you get the questions all the time from people, I want to do voiceover, and how do I get into it, and how do I do this? And I try to let them know that, like, the work is getting the work.
Yes.
Actual work is not work. Like, that is the most fun, thrilling, satisfying. I mean, it is so cool to realize that nobody else on the planet is going to give the exact performance or the exact character or the exact whatever that you are. And
Donovan,
that's the part you can do for free.
That is the ultimate wisdom in this business is the work is not work.
No.
You have to be good at it. You have to be able to deliver the goods, but the work is getting the work. The work is the auditions, the promotion, all those other things. Once you book the gig,
yeah, Exactly. That's what I was telling you. Like, that's the part I would do for free. The reason you're going to pay me is because of all the stuff I did to get to the point where I would be willing to do this. And, the value that you bring.
It's like the story of the old television repairman, television not working and the lady calls and he comes in, he looks at it and then he taps it on the side and comes right back. And he said, that'd be $150. She said, $150 you did was tap it on the side. She said, yeah, but I know where to tap.
There you go. That's why you're going to pay, because you just be tapping all willy-nilly. Well, Dave, thank you so much. This has been a blast. Again, it's so cool to be able to have this chat with you. Again, one of my mentors, one of my idols in this biz, and I'm truly honored to call you a friend, which that is like another accomplishment I can say, like going from this, there's Dave Fennoy, and now it's like I can call you up like, Dave, what's going on? So that also is like just truly.
Donovan, you're in the game, man.
I'm in the game.
You're one of the main players. You're one of the main players.
It took me 16 years, but I'm in here, baby.
Yeah, and you know what? You're at that point now. You're working. There's gonna be a brother like you were to me. That's gonna approach you. That's looking up to you.
I've had like
right
two,
now.
Man, and I flash back to that moment because it was at that's voiceover in Burbank.
Was it in New York?
Yeah, it was the one in Burbank. It was when this happened, our moment. It was at that what was it, like a something of the arts, like a really colorful building. I think it's
the blue whale like, in
So
over there in West Hollywood, the arts.
Okay, something like the arts center of something.
The design center.
There we go. And I'll never forget that. And so when I've had two people that did that via phone call or even in person, and I immediately flashed back, and I had like what would Dave do? WWDD. And it truly made me realize like there's no level that you could be at in your career as far as like status or success that makes you too big to help someone out. Or at least to encourage someone, because there's enough work out here for everybody. I don't have to say like, no. He's too talented. I'm not going to help him out. Like that would never.
Well, guess what? That might be the inspiration that pushes him on to do that thing. Oh, that son of a gun wouldn't tell me now.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's doing it with vindication and
I had that kind of inspiration when I was first getting started. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't a voiceover person. It was somebody in the advertising business that I was trying to get an informational interview with to find out some of the things I needed to do. And the guy said, well, we got enough voices. We don't need anybody else.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, yeah. And I had a program director that, oh, you're never going to make it in this business. There's something wrong with your voice. Oh, yeah? Okay. Yeah. I'll show you.
I had one too, man, at one of my last 9 to 5s. I won't get too much into it. I'll save that for another day. But I had a former manager that told me this is when I was just like, oh, this is something I want to do. And I was taking classes, but I couldn't afford like any kind of microphone or any kind of studio setup. And it was like, obviously you can't handle thinking about that dream and doing this job. Like you need to worry about the job you have, because obviously you can't handle. And it was like a new wrinkle and a fold happened in my brain matter. It was like, zoop. Now I know that there's no other option for me but to be successful at this voiceover thing, just because of that. Now that was that first little spark, right? It goes from that, one day. And then, hey, I got laid off from my job.
Now, have you seen that guy since?
It is a woman, and I have not. And recently, she sent me a friend request.
Isn't that just Facebook. A little bit of you wants to run into her and
look? She sent me a friend request on Facebook recently, and I was like, nope. That was no.
I would have accepted the friend request just so I could remember when you told me, but she'd probably hit you with, I supported you.
I supported you. I knew you had it. Yeah, I knew it all along. No, but see, my page isn't private, so she can fully go through and see everything. But anyway, thank you so much, Dave. I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you so much for joining me on the How Did Show. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and bigger, better, more wonderful things in your career in the future, man. Thank you.
Well, I ain't retiring yet.
Hey, look, that's another great thing about VO. Like, I'm gonna do this till the wheels fall off.
That's right. That's right.
Well, have a great one, man, and
right.
I hope to see you in person soon, man.
All right. Whoa! There. Oh no!
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me for the How Did Show. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment. And definitely be sure to look out for more new episodes coming very soon. Peace.